Hey guys, and welcome to season three, episode 13 of Valley Views. This is your host, Amanda Joy Christensen, and I'm so excited to be here. Today is something really special. I'm producing with the suggestion of my fabulous mentor, Lee Clark, my first video episode. And I wanted to share it's not only season three, episode 13, it's my 69th episode. It's also my over 100th, I don't know, weekly streamed episode or some milestone that I'm celebrating. And it's just like really exciting to think. Um, Less than 2 years ago, this was just a vision in my head, but it was really something that started in my heart as long as I can remember. I always grew up with a storytelling heart. And I just think that as I've gotten older, I've decided to use my voice in a way. Um, that hopefully creates impact, that causes change, that creates legacy, that does something different for the city that I love, but also does something different for the global community that might not know a lot about Las Vegas. So, some of the things that I wanted to share on this episode is just sort of like where I'm going, and what I plan on doing into May. So, in the last episode, I let everybody know that May 1st is the Women's Wellness Summit that I'm going to be a part of. I'm speaking on the Becoming Her, building identity, faith, self-expression, and healing. And I'm really excited to just sit on a panel with my sisters from Slaying Vegas. Kyra Simone will be there, Marika Edwards, myself, and Natasha. And all of us come with a very different background, but all of us women have had to kind of reinvent ourselves multiple times again. We're self-made women. We don't have men supporting us. The men that have supported us really have let us down in the past, whether it was stealing time, money, resources, identity, personal value in who you were. So each of us women are bringing something different to the table, but also just a piece of our hearts to share on how to heal once you're through that. Um, so today's episode is kind of different because I've never actually done video, so this is like totally a different experience. And I decided to use my background. I don't know how well received this will be, and even if it's like something I'm gonna put out, but you know me, I'm gonna try anything once and just see what the thoughts are. Um, but May is gonna be an amazing month. I'm really gonna just get in on producing some episodes again about businesses, but today's episode, I just want to get back to kind of like the heart of hospitality and how and why I started my podcast. Um, Valley Views podcast was intended to elevate stories around local Las Vegas leaders building family businesses here, promoting legacy, and then ultimately holding space as like an educational tool in the community that might not have been created yet had I not put it out there. And some of the things I'm talking about is like mentorship in any major place always costs money. It always costs time. And a lot of times getting close to super successful people who have put 10 to 15 to 20 years into a craft is really hard because one, their schedules are crazy. Two, at a certain point in your life, I think when you hit a certain age, you want to be around less people and just want to be around quality people, which is where I'm at. And I think that like the reality of the world that I'm in is I've lived through so many things that I want to share little tidbits here and there on how I Jedi mind tricked myself through them. And I joke because that's what it is. A lot of times in life, you are told you are underperforming, you don't look a certain way, you're never going to become something, but maybe it's just the room you're in. I think a lot of times in my own career, I always tried to put myself in a category and tried to say I could do this or I could do that. And really, what happened was I created these self-limiting beliefs around the external ideas of who I was. And when I started Valley Views, I had like a song in my heart. I had a story. I had a lot of healing. I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of resentment towards what happened in Las Vegas in 2020 with the whole industry shutting down. But then just like the catalyst of how hospitality has continued to really not recover. And some people don't want to hear that. Some people are like, that's really not what you should be focusing on. But the reality is pre-2020, the world of hospitality in Las Vegas, the culture of hospitality in Las Vegas had such an eclectic, personalized feel to it that because of the digital post-COVID-19 influence online creator space, it's kind of stolen from the hidden gems or the expectations or created. Some businesses have months of super success, and then because their TikTok video didn't go viral this month, no one cares and now they're closed. So there's a lot of behind the scenes things that happen here in Las Vegas that, at first it's like I moved here, I hated it. I didn't see myself wanting to produce anything out of Vegas to try to convince people, one, that it is a great city to live in, and two, that hospitality has been one of the most underrepresented voices in business as well as in legislation and government. So many times you have like leagues and organizations and unions for, carpenters, for firefighters, for EMTs. You have doctors and lawyers that get together, but where's outside of associations like the true heart of hospitality? And where are those hospitality leaders putting their efforts into the market to breed the next culture of leaders? And so that's kind of like my overarching view of how Valley View started. And then every episode up until this point had been me either pre-interviewing somebody, going out to an event, taking notes on it, coming back, and just kind of like sharing with everybody um, my perspective. But as my brand evolves and as my investors come online and as my mentors continue to bring my vision to life, Valley Views for me is to be a network for you. Whether it's a once a week live I do, whether it's a broadcasted thing on YouTube, whether it's just starting doing this right now, creating a visual audio tool that could educate somebody. So 1 year ago today, ironically enough, was really big turning point in my life. It was also a huge turning point here in the Las Vegas Valley for legislation around the Hollywood bill. And about a year ago, I put out a video really just talking about how Hollywood could offset and supplement the change that's happening in the hospitality industry. And when I asked local hospitality leaders, like, do you care about the bill? What is your vision on it? And most people just said, well, there's no money going back. It's a stupid bill. We don't care. It really hurt my heart because the reality is when I think back to 2020 and I see how many jobs have been lost in Las Vegas, um, bringing something like a Hollywood film studio that could produce a 365 ever-changing set, ever-changing catering menu, ever-changing need for carpenters, for set builders, like the engineers that you have in these hotels that you bring on just to support large events could be supplemented in labor to large Hollywood film studios as different things get produced or built. And I think that the biggest piece of legislation that also got missed in the overarching conversation was the investment back in schools. And as somebody who continues to build a platform around safety, around education, around being an influential voice here in Las Vegas, to bridge the gap on why things need to change in the adult world so our kids grow up in a safer city, I will continue to just kind of like talk about the controversial things. So I I say that like with grace. I say that with so much grace. So the controversy is this. Most of the schools here in Clark County do not offer any art or educational program around music. And one of the biggest components to that film bill was also extending educational training into elementary, middle school, and high school programs. And although there wasn't tax dollars allocated back to the state, I think by just having some sort of construction and jobs and, wages being paid on taxes and employment tax dollars, there would have been a lot of growth. But I've also realized that as the casinos tend to be the only share of voice that matter here, um, they saw no value in that because why create a new industry and create a monopoly? Like there's a monopoly already with casinos, so why have anyone knock them down? So when I put that video out at the time, this is where like personal and business collide. Um, I was also going through what was soon to be an unexpected pregnancy loss. And within that same week, I found myself standing up and being like, oh, I'm this leader who's like wanting to do entertainment in Vegas. And then a week later, I almost died. So here I am, almost 1 year to the day. And I'm just sitting here, like, really just thinking about how Valley Views has grown. When I first went out to market it, I invited anyone to come on my show. I invited anyone to just create the hype. But now, with my 69th episode, season three, episode 13, which I am producing here for you all, uh, I realize now the right people will come to me. The voices that will align with my vision already are reaching out. I had one of the most like amazing dynamic mentorship coaching classes this morning, and I'm just sitting here like I am the master of the next decade of my life. And when I moved here, I had to rely on two or three jobs. I had to be a waitress at two different places, going to school during the day and trying to like pick up weekend shifts here to learn how to run a call center. Or I didn't come here with a lot, but I built the momentum behind the skills to get me to the place now to mentor and encourage you. And it wasn't without years of waitressing. It wasn't without years of answering hundreds of thousands of calls. It wasn't without years of manually inputting reservations with my own bare hands till my knuckles bled to just understand that the manual processes of what makes the experiences here in Las Vegas is because of the humans that drive it. And so many times it's the everyday individual humans that get overlooked who are putting in those 50, 60 extra hours a week to cross every like T and dot every I and check every detail to make sure that your paid for once in a lifetime experience is over the top. And it's funny because most people when they came to Vegas about a decade ago, were chasing things like music festivals, concerts. We barely had hockey yet. There was no sports here. So the experience of what drove Las Vegas a decade ago till now has completely evolved, but so has the demand for conversations around safety. And one of the biggest things, especially as the city is moving ahead with building the MLB stadium, the NBA future stadium, and what will hopefully be Summerlin Studios one day. Um, I see the city as finally a place to keep my roots. I see the city as I spent 20 years here to watch it evolve to this point. So why would I look back and want to invest anywhere else? Why wouldn't I want more people globally to know about how fabulous Vegas is beyond the casinos? There's so many more attractions here now, whether it's food or culture festivals, whether it's Cowabunga Bay, which is about to open this weekend, and taking my kids this summer is going to be like one of the best things to do, and it's right up the street. I just realized that if I still lived in my small town somewhere in Pennsylvania, the opportunities that my kids would have to become enriched, culture-driven kids wouldn't be there. And when I moved here at 20 years old, the most impactful thing for me was never like the environment as much as it was the aesthetics and the people. And I lived 15 years here before the internet drove business, before influencers spent time making this super curated video for an experience you can't even afford. I remember just wandering into so many places and just organically experiencing things that I think people are forgetting that that's what Vegas should be about again. It shouldn't be about curating something to look so great online as much as it should just be about holding curiosity and space for all of the small businesses that are here that put their hands to work every week to deliver on something magical that you will never ever see or have anywhere else. And as long as the place looks great and your water glasses are filled and the cocktails taste right and the music is a vibe, what else do you need? I wrote a couple episodes ago about this new millennial culture and how this need for debauchery and this overtop experiences and even getting married, like it's on the decline. The experiences that once were are no longer because most people are just looking for 30-second thumbable material. They just want to sit around and thumb around and see what's up to everyone else and what they're doing. But what Valley Views forced me to do was get outside of my comfort zone and go support events and small businesses and go be curious about my city again in a time where curiosity is what really creates experience. It's not somebody pre-deciding on my Facebook feed or my Instagram preload an ad. It's about actually going out into the community and having heart-to-heart conversations with people about why they have lived here and why it still matters to them. And what choices can I make today as a mom with small children so tomorrow my kids growing up here could have a job outside of just being a cocktail server or stripper as a girl or as one of my a guy job. I mean, my son could be a hockey player now. He could grow up. There's programs in schools that are revolving around STEM, science, technology, education, and mathematics. He could go on and work for an airline, which is his dream. He's almost 5 and he loves airplanes and space. And had I just stayed in a small town in Pennsylvania, the opportunity to maybe send my kid to a science or a technology or an aerodynamic school down the line wouldn't have existed like it does in Las Vegas. This is one of the cities where you can come, and if you want to learn anything in the world, there's a school or there's a training for that. And that's the other part of Valley Views that I love. I don't go out anymore to the casinos to find out per se what's happening inside of them. But I go out to these small little warehouses and these small little communities and these mom and pop shops. And I'm just like, why are you here? And why are you doing this? And every time I produce an episode about someone else, it gives them business, but it also gives them motivation to not give up on their dream. And that is something else that Valley Views was to me. It was a dream in my head. It was an idea that I had in a city where everybody makes a podcast and everybody has a voice and anybody can have an idea. So, what makes my show different? I'm not just somebody who's faking it. I'm actually somebody who's lived it. I'm actually who's someone who's put the hours in. And I'm actually somebody who, along the way, never really begged for credit and never really expected it. I was okay with just being somebody on the sidelines. I was okay just being the fly on the wall, listening to these billion-dollar brains around me. But the day I stopped being okay with that was 2020, when the idea of being an employee for someone shattered. It shattered for so many people, and it led me back to my heart and to what I was always good at. And that was being creative, and that was having a voice. And so when I think back on the last 68 episodes that I've produced without showing anybody my face, I just want to say thank you. If you knew the pain and the places of darkness that I was standing in some nights when I hit record on this mic, and I still showed up to share someone else's story or shine a light to make somebody else's day a little brighter, it helped keep my voice and my heart alive. In the hardest season of my life, a year ago, it was the darkest time. I didn't know what was next, and I didn't even know if I was going to survive. But I knew that I wouldn't have been here again, unless it was to teach or change a viewpoint. I knew that it was time to pull the trigger on just living my dream, whether people love me or hate me, whether people block me or add me, whether people say hi to me or not. It's not about what someone else thinks anymore. It's about authentically stepping into the voice, the leader, and the role that God showed me that I could be. And at the end of the day, no matter where you are, whether you're in your car or you're somewhere in a random desert listening to my podcast, or you're in Ireland or Italy or Scotland, or I don't even know some of the countries, Croatia, some of the countries that are listening to my show, um, thank you. When I started this, it was just to impact my local community. But the ripple of global impact that Valley Views can have on changing a viewpoint around family, on hospitality, and the city of Las Vegas is the point. It's not about being famous and it's not about being popular. And like for the first time in my life, I'm just genuinely happy. And that's something that no one can take from me or try to buy back or steal. The best advice that I can give to you guys this week is keep being you. And when you feel really, really down, put on your favorite song, dance around the house, drink your favorite cup of coffee, go buy yourself some damn roses, and just shape up. And just realize that everybody has a sob story. Everybody's lived through things, but not, it doesn't make it right and it doesn't make it fair. But what I can tell you is, even if everyone is against you, if you just align yourself with the authentic voice in your heart, anything's possible. Anything. I can't wait to catch you guys on the next episode of Valley Views. I am going to be profiling one of my Slaying Vegas sisters, Anushka Dannon. She is a local color analyst here in Las Vegas. She is a mom. She is a social butterfly. She is just someone who has absolutely been a sister to me and just somebody who I really look up to as just a woman of impact here in the community. The way that she uses her voice to inspire people to see Las Vegas in a vibrant family way is something that I continue to want to keep doing. So I will look forward to welcoming you all next time on Valley Views. And anyone feel free to send me some feedback on the video. But at this point, I really don't care because I just love my backdrop. Catch you guys soon.